we saw our financials turn around completely. We're being recognized as the number one in Texas, the number four in the nation hospital for patient safety, patient experience. Patient satisfaction went from the low 30th percentile to the high 90th percentile. The following year, we won the Malcolm Baldrige Presidential Award for Quality.
Today is an exciting day for me because I get to introduce you all to one of my favorite and great values leaders that we've worked with for some time now. And he is a true believer, and I wish every leader would emulate how Michael builds these wonderful, wonderful values-led organizations. We first got to meet Mike when he was at Hill Country Memorial Hospital. Later on, we followed him to the University of North Texas Health Science Center, where he presently leads the group there and has made a huge difference. He also has just started an MD school there that we're going to hear about today too. Welcome, Michael. We're so glad that you're here today. Thank you so much, Mike, for spending the time with us.
Absolutely. And first of all, I'm really excited to be here. It's always fun to talk to you. I just love the opportunities to have a conversation with you. So I'm honored to be here this morning.
We first met you at Hill Country Memorial, and I know that you had some huge challenges there, Mike. Will you tell us a little bit about what you experienced and how you use the values to help Hill Country recover from an incident?
Certainly. So from the hospital perspective, I was serving on the board as a physician member of the board. We saw a number of years leading up. We saw a process happening in front of us with a dysfunctional leader, with the deterioration of the hospital over time, with financial issues, people leaving, high turnover, difficulty recruiting. And so every aspect of the hospital business was hurting. We saw low physician engagement, low employee engagement, low patient satisfaction. So we put the leader was removed. We brought an interim in, and the interim failed miserably over about 5 months while we were doing a search. And the board came to me and said, "We've got to make an interim change. Would you be willing to step into this for 3 months and do this?" I had an anesthesia practice as a physician at the hospital and had a lot of care that the hospital did well, so I stepped off and did that for 3 months. Just to be clear, I had no knowledge of how to run a hospital, no idea. I had enough, having gone to business school, I'd had enough training to be dangerous. So we made some significant leadership changes right off the bat and removed members of the executive team. And then I just started thinking about, we can just treat this like an experiment, like a lab. We don't have anything to lose. What went on then from 3 months to 5 years was I wanted to do a people culture. I wanted to build a customer service organization, and I wanted to build a leaned out operation. So very first step was I knew what I could know about the Southwest Airlines culture, and that led me, and I loved it. I saw what happened to customers in that environment, what happened to employees, and that led us to reach out to you and understand that was the kind of culture I wanted to create.
And boy, did you do a good job. What were some of the outcomes that you achieved because of this model that you put in place?
Well, once you have a set of values, and you guys were so great at helping us understand, because I'd had a set of values at first that I did on my kitchen table. I did the old leadership top-down model. It failed miserably. It went nowhere. Nobody bought into. And then you guys educated me very quickly in understanding that it's about the values of the organization. So it was a great lesson that I've never forgotten. So we started off at the front line, put a group of 30 to 40 people together, and we put our values together. What happened then was over a period of time, we defined our values clearly, but then more importantly, I think we defined our behaviors real clearly. So then the organization really had a sense of boundaries, a sense of guardrails, a sense of who we were as a community. And what that did for us was over the next few years, we saw our financials turn around completely. Our patient engagement, patient satisfaction went from the low 30th percentile to the high 90th percentile. We went from being number 4,500 of over 6,000 U.S. hospitals to uh, becoming ranked in the Truven Top 100, and continued to be ranked year after year. We then were told we were a candidate for the Malcolm Baldrige Presidential Leadership Award, and they wanted us to keep going and be a candidate for the Quality Award. Their leadership award there's different from the quality award, but we won the leadership award in 2013. Just us and Duke University were the only two. So this little 100-bed hospital in Central Texas got this kind of recognition. The following year, we won the Malcolm Baldrige Presidential Award for Quality. And then the most fun thing was on my last executive meeting, right in the middle of the meeting, I got interrupted by my admin to say, hey, Medicare's on the phone, which was never a good thing to hear. And so when I took the phone call from Medicare, they were telling us that we were, in the fourth quarter of 2012, we were being recognized as the #1 in Texas, the #4 in the nation hospital for patient safety, patient experience, and quality. That was probably the biggest crowning blow of all the things. But also one more thing to kind of bring this to home is watching our people change. We were able to move out our temporary help and bring people back. It was like watching springs come back alive in the land and see the water come back. Things turned green again. People were excited to be there. People took care. So as a result, real quick, last story is we had a horrible preventable medical error. And some of the people in our team really treated the family badly. This was early part of our values journey. And that led us to taking the family through a journey of apology and being open with them and using our values. And ultimately what that led to was the father joined our values team and joined our culture committee for the hospital. So all kinds of great things happened. We were very blessed, and I tied it all to the values culture.
Well, it's all about your leadership, though, Michael. Thank you so much for being the kind of leader that we all, again, want to emulate. And then from there, you went on and took your talent and your experience to, of course, UNT Health Sciences Center. What did you take with you in terms of learnings from Hill Country?
I think, when I left the hospital, I was absolutely convinced in the power of a values-based culture, the power to drive an organization to higher performance levels, but also a power to drive an organization culturally to a place of solidarity and growth together. It becomes a place that if you have never lived in one or worked in one, you wouldn't want to ever work in a place that didn't have one. And so what I saw in the university was universities, in my opinion, had left behind the focus of their business, which were students and families. And so it's much like patients in the hospitals. The hospitals had left behind the patients and focused on the provider, how well the providers were doing. In higher ed, it was about how can we change the way we look at our organization, how we look at our business of training students to become medical providers, medical professionals. And if we're going to do that, then let's change how they look at the world through a values-based lens and how they really position patients first. So it took a lot of work. A lot of people left, a lot of executive changes, because once the values were established by 50 of our community members and our internal university members, it became something we wanted to stand for. And the values were so well designed and the behaviors were so well, and we worked directly with your team to do that. And once people started seeing it working and how we were going to stand behind it, and that took some hard work of people wanting to test it and ultimately realizing it wasn't a good fit for them any longer. And then it allowed us to do a lot of other things. And so as a result, now everything we do, we're put up against a filter of our values. When we go out and meet with other people, other partnerships, we put up our values. And when we're talking to vendors, we put up our values. So we're a little unique as a higher ed organization, because you don't really find this. I haven't found it many other places where I talk to other people. So that's what I brought from the hospital was I say overall, a firm belief that there's no other way I'd want to run a business.
Now you know why we love this man so much and why we believe He is the example of the leader we would like to see everywhere. He lives the values model. We always say leaders drive the values by their behaviors. And you just saw a great example of that happening. We don't know where his journey will take him, but we do know that wherever he goes, he will influence the organization to continue being values led. We can't thank you enough, Mike, for being here. And most of all, for all of your influence and everything you've accomplished by showing people that the built on values model does work and you get great outcomes and everyone gets to enjoy the results of it. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Ann. It's my absolute pleasure and honor. It's been a fun journey.
Thank you.